Hey everybody, welcome to another Crypto Bros AMAs. It's Crypto Jacob and Crypto Danny. We're here with Pavel with BLUZELLE. He's the CEO. Welcome.
Hey guys, how's it going? Crypto Danny here. So today we're going to be doing an AMA with Pavel, the CEO of BLUZELLE. And just so you guys know, this coin's been out for about a month or so. Their price right now is ranging about 50 cents. Very great project. We've invested in the ICO. We're very fortunate to have Pavel here. Pavel, we're going to start with like one of the most basic questions. How did you get into the crypto space, and what made you start the idea of BLUZELLE?
Yeah, it was around mid 2014. You're sitting there and you just kept hearing about Bitcoin. And okay, what's this thing all about, right? And started kind of reading up on it and saying, let me just kind of really start understanding it. And you read the white paper, the Bitcoin white paper, then that led to blockchain, and you start reading up at that time Ripple and all these other things coming up, and like, wow, this is super fascinating.
Right.
I'm a big, deep technology guy, went to school for finance and economics, so it kind of brought everything together. So it just kind of just blew my mind, saying every idea or thing I had in my head of stuff I was interested was in like one product.
Right.
So I was like, all right, let's, and then you start thinking about blockchain and saying, okay, what the internet did, the mobile internet, it's like, this is the next wave. So let me just start getting into this.
Right. That's awesome. That's awesome. And how did you come up with the idea with BLUZELLE? Like what is like the biggest thing that gave you the idea, or how did you start the project?
Well, originally we were just doing blockchain projects for, just whatever we could do and just cut our teeth. And then about a year, and we're doing some stuff for enterprises like banks and insurance companies out here in Asia.
Okay.
About a year and a half ago, my CTO said, hey, be a good application of the blockchain? I was like, what? He's like, building a decentralized database. And we went over it. We thought it was just a bit too early. But then like 4 months later, we had done a project for the banks. And we came through some like problem areas where data was stored because we built a private Ethereum blockchain and a DApp for them. And my CTO goes, hey, remember that database idea I had? I'm like, yeah. He goes, that would have been really helpful here.
Right.
Yeah, and so then I got it totally. Like, okay, we're having that problem. Everybody else is going to have that problem. No one was really addressing it. So we said, that's when we've got to basically, now that's where we're just kind of doing projects before and just building our credibility. We're like, this is going to be the one product that we do and we'll scale up. And that's how the database came together.
All right. That's awesome. And for your ICO, during your ICO stage, did you have any issues or anything like with your token sale, or did everything just run smoothly?
No, a bunch of stuff happened. Like for us, it was, so from August of last year onwards, we would just do a whole bunch of events, and the whole goal was, let's just educate the market about what the tech is about, the product, the team, and just kept writing articles and blog posts and just doing webinars and kept doing that. Then slowly kind of just building it up, and then in December, it's just like everything just totally blew up, that everybody just kind of caught wind of it, which totally surprised us. So that's why we had to kind of cut the whitelist down really quickly, like just shut it off. But the community kept growing. And then, in this space, anything could happen.
Exactly.
Like we had, everything was going smooth. And then the last couple of weeks right before the ICO, stuff would happen. Like, for example, word got out, some rumor spread that we're doing we had raised our hard cap by like 4 times. And people had allocations for pre-sales, and we're like, no, that doesn't exist. Don't fall for any of it. If you do that, you're basically getting scammed.
Exactly. Oh yeah, there's a lot of people out there that don't realize, the newcomers in the crypto space that could easily get into the scams and whatnot. I'm pretty sure you took a lot of initiative to help out those people though, because you and your team were posting in the Telegram a lot during that time.
Yeah, we try to do like educate everybody, like don't fall for it, and just gave us warnings. But then sometimes people just, we'd get messages after and be like, I thought it was a scam, but I just want to try it anyways because I wanted to get the tokens. I'm like, dude, you just gave your money to somebody. Like,
yeah.
So we try to educate and say, this is the only contract address. The only person you can deal with for a private sale is me personally, nobody else, and on, right? So that was kind of disheartening that people are getting taken that way. But I think whether it's ourselves, other ICOs, guys like you, best we can do is keep educating everybody and warning them. Like, otherwise, we're just going to give a reason for governments to come in over-regulate.
Yep. Right.
So I think we've got all the people who are like committed in this space. We got to kind of take got to take responsibility to educate people ourselves and not say leave it to somebody else.
Right, exactly. And I'm
Mhm.
pretty sure you guys have like about, what was it, like 25,000?
You guys have 25,000 in
Yeah,
your Telegram.
25,000 people in your Telegram. That's awesome. How did it feel when you got to scale up to that big of a community?
No, it was like I said, it was just crazy. Like
Yeah.
we were hovering around like 1,000 going into December,
Mm-hmm.
and added between December 1st and December 8th. I remember we added like another 1,000. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. That's going faster than we were doing before.
Right.
And then a storm hit.
And then, yeah, and then after that, it just started going nuts.
Yeah.
So it's pretty cool that all of a sudden we're sitting here just like kind of focusing on our tech product, not really doing anything like crazy. People would say like, oh, you guys hyped this up. I was like, no, we didn't do anything of hype.
Yeah.
We're just like minding our business and just building out the product and doing some quality marketing in terms of education and putting articles out that we wrote. So it was really cool to have that kind of embrace all of a sudden out of nowhere.
Yeah,
great.
I was gonna ask you. So I thought personally that was like a marketing tactic of your guys, but I guess not. You know, like some things just happen out of nowhere, and you can't control it. But that was a good thing. So I was gonna ask you, like, what are you doing in terms of marketing as of right now?
Same as before. Like it's we're doing constantly putting out the articles. We want to do like 2 blog posts a week, focusing mainly on the product.
Okay.
And kind of deliver substance each time. Like I've had a couple guys message us saying, hey, you guys should do more aggressive marketing, PR, but that's really driven more at the token guys, like sale. And we're like, no, like our product is aimed at developers. And if you're in tech and you know developers, they're skeptical of everything. So if all of a sudden we're like doing advertising everywhere and just hyping up ourselves, the developers will get skeptical and be like, what is this product? This isn't even a real product. They're just basing it all on hype.
Right.
And I won't even use this thing later, right? So it's really important for us to kind of stick to proper substance, build out news. What we're really focusing on is building up our developer community now. So before we would do meetups with other people, now we're going to start organizing our own meetups, doing hackathons, different cities where it's just, kind of just build up the BLUZELLE community specifically for developers to come out, try the product, learn more, and spread the word to people they know and saying, hey, we checked this thing out. It's awesome. Right. If you want to be a token holder, you can use the product. Otherwise, hold it for a long term because people are going to be needing this thing.
Right. So you're creating like a big adoption, right? You're trying to network your project so people can actually use it, right? Essentially.
That's right.
Awesome.
Yeah. I was actually wondering because I know you guys have a 2-token system, and I was wondering, could you have just done it with the token, like just a 1 token, or what was the reason behind that?
Yeah, you could, but so if we did the 1 token, it would either have to be an ERC20 token.
Yeah.
Now, if we did that, the problem there is if you yourself, like Danny, if you're like using our product and you go, okay, I'm going to write some data or I need to retrieve it, then if it was just an ERC20 token, for the time you get your data, it's got to confirm that you're the owner of that data with that token. And you know how long it takes on Ethereum now, right?
Yeah.
If you're a developer, you need this thing to come fast. So if there's a slowdown for you to get the data that you need for your product, you're going to be like, I'm not using this thing at all.
That's true. You have to have demand, right?
Well, it's not the demand. It's like they're just basically, it's taking too long for me to verify that this is my data and me to retrieve it and use it. So whether it's decentralized or not decentralized, speed is what matters. So the other one was, so the other thing is, okay, do we do the token on our own, build it ourselves, let's say separate from an ERC20? Well, now that comes its own issues of, building your own blockchain, mining, all that. So for the time being, the best thing to do was really do the ERC20 token for fundraising, but then have our internal token for everything else. So that way the developer can still use a product at a super fast speed, get what they need, and then the funding platform was the token, the BLZ ERC20 token. And if somebody needs to buy on the exchange, that's what they get. So that's why you have to do the 2-token system for now.
Right. Yeah. Cool.
I mean, eventually, I think our goal would be to go towards something where we can just have one, and that can come later.
Yeah. Yeah. So, like on your roadmap, like what's the biggest next upcoming thing that's on your roadmap?
Your next update, really.
Yeah. Like basically your next update.
Yeah, the real, like, we'll have a mini update come out like next month in terms of the product, like probably around April, but the big one will be June and end of June, and that's where it's going to be around, specifically around certain, it'll be integrated to a certain number of blockchains that we're talking to right now, and people will be able to sit there and go, okay, I've got one swarm. It won't be multi-swarm, it'll be one swarm where they can store all their data and create, write, update, delete, and do it in a, where if they're using testable data at that time, they can be able to see and basically see how the entire product works in a mini state. Okay. And that'll be end of June.
Okay, gotcha.
So that's like a big thing, investors, like people that are buying your coin in the market right now, that's like something that they have something that they're looking forward to as far as like news-wise goes.
Yeah, so in addition to just, like, say, the partnerships and use cases that we'll put out in the next couple of months will be that, hey, in June there'll be a product out there for, some of our partners and other developers. Like, that's the whole goal, is between now and June, I want to build up that developer community really well, whether it's source guys, consumers who will use the data, the network, or even, producers, guys who want to basically provide a storage point. So we want to build that up, educate them well, so by the time this June release happens, they're ready to download it and start really using it, and then we can show the whole world, like, hey, check this thing out.
All right. Yeah. Because your project is awesome.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So how many, like, as of right now, do you know how many potential users you may have?
No, it's because, product's just out, and we're just kind of educating and building up that developer community right now.
Okay.
Who's in our network. So probably in the next couple of months we'll get a better idea of how we're acquiring new customers and the pace that's going at. Yeah. So it's just too early. I would say in another 45 days we'll be able to say, hey, how's this thing scaling up?
All right. Okay. Cool.
Like, one of the things we did was we hired a couple guys who used to work for some of the bigger database companies in the world, like MySQL, and they built up their open source community. So they're coming on to us to basically do the same blueprint. Like, okay, what's our, it takes a while to build up these groups. So what's like our 12 to 18 month roadmap of building these guys up, and whether it's through online webinars, live events, hosting hackathons, it's like same blueprint, because that's a big thing. It's just like how Ethereum, everybody built up their developer. That's what some of the things that people forget now is.
Right.
When the products first came out, it was really based at developers and building up that community for the first year. Not everything just took off right away. So you got to that's what we're doing, is just building up that community for the next 6 months.
So you would say, like, maybe that's like your biggest target right now, is building up that community and networking and having people adopt, or the main adoption for your project.
Yeah, so when people always ask challenges, like, I got faith in my CTO and my tech team that we'll deliver on the product, but then you don't want to wait till the product's done and start marketing. It's like, no, let's start building up the developer community now. Give them the tools, give them the content, the articles, the documentation they need, so they can give feedback, and we can just kind of perfect that. So by the time the product comes out, it's like, here guys, here's everything. And then you should get a real viral effect there. People trying to share out and tell other people, like, hey, they got everything lined up here and the product works.
Yeah, that's smart. Investing in your people. I definitely agree with that. So, do you have any questions?
Oh yeah. So I was wondering, who are the top competitors for BLUZELLE right now?
That always comes up. It's like, don't pay too much close attention to it, because in the centralized current world, you've got the guys like IBM, Amazon, Oracle.
Yeah.
But focus is really, let's just focus on the blockchain world for the next year, because those are the early adopters, right? We're not going to get the guys that are using IBM right now, like the traditional big companies, they're not going to switch to any blockchain project. That's just, those guys can't even go cloud yet, right? Forget decentralized. So in our space, there's a couple of companies come up, like BigChainDB is a good one. They focus more on enterprises and doing private networks, like on-premise, I believe. Ours is a brand new protocol where you don't host any of the hardware, you're just plugging into us. And then plus, because all this stuff is so brand new, it's like, I just try to focus on what we're going to deliver on and executing that, as opposed to paying attention to what everybody else is doing, because everybody's trying to do something different. So I don't try to get caught up on what this guy's doing, compete against them. So let's just deliver and build up our own community the best that we can.
That's the best way to focus on your project. Never look at what everybody else is doing, right? Yeah. So we have a few more questions for you. So, is there any? I know didn't you just come out with a few new partnerships?
Yeah, so a couple ones that we're working on is the guys from Zero X, which are super cool guys that I met them, last June when they came to Singapore. Really tech savvy, tech heavy guys. The other one is Zilliqa, which is high throughput blockchain that they're building here.
Yeah.
They're also based in Singapore, so they're a super tech heavy team as well, and we're looking at ways where they can use us to store some of their data for themselves, but also that they build out the libraries, BLUZELLE, so now their customers who are building dApps on Zilliqa can say, hey, BLUZELLE's already integrated in, let's use them as the database. And then there's B Token out of San Francisco, and then most recently last week, our first kind of corporate partnership is with JD.com. That's like, for the ones that don't know, everybody kind of knows Alibaba. They're like Alibaba's biggest competitor in Asia.
Oh.
And so we're looking at two things, where either taking some of their stuff, that the data they store for e-commerce and everything, and saying, hey, let's put it on a blockchain, decentralized network like BLUZELLE. Also, because they have cloud computing services, they could be like, hey, we want to be some of the nodes where we're storing other people's data. And so they're a producer and a consumer on our network.
Right. Cool. And what projections do you see for BLUZELLE for this year? Like maybe not even this year, but maybe in like the next upcoming few years, where do you see BLUZELLE going?
I think for the next year and a half, just solidly is got to be just focusing on the blockchain projects, the dApp. So want to integrate into really as many platforms as we can, like the top blockchain protocols. Like obviously Ethereum is the first one, but then we don't know which ones are going to be. Everyone's going to have a different type of blockchain and kind of service a different need. So whether Neo, Zilliqa, whoever else. So the goal is put the product out and get it into basically all the top type of blockchain, blockchain platforms themselves.
Right.
So the goal is so we become the de facto, no matter what somebody's building, we're the de facto database on those platforms. And then once we kind of conquer saying, okay, we got good traction, we know the blockchain community really well, they're using the product. Now you got enough proof points to go like to the non-blockchain guys. So let's just say you guys decide to build a mobile game, has nothing to do with the blockchain. Your data should still be in a decentralized manner. And you go, hey, check this thing out, BLUZELLE. They got all these customers. It works well. Like I said, developers are skeptical. So if they see that, hey, this thing's been adopted by one community and it's going really fast, they'll be like, let me try that out. So those are really the goals for the next 2 years.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I was also wondering, where exactly did you find your team? Like, were you really close with them, or
maybe like in a better way, like for some people that might not know the structure of your team, how would you explain that as far as your team goes?
So I met my CTO around summer 2014, so July, through a mutual friend. He had Neeraj had just finished at Zero Block, which had gotten bought, which is one of the first blockchain acquisitions. So it got bought by Blockchain, the wallet company. So he left there, came back to Vancouver, wanted to start a company in blockchain. So that's how him and I just got introduced through a mutual acquaintance. And that's how we started building up. And then most of the tech team right now is in Vancouver, where the main headquarters is Singapore, where business, marketing, and targeting Asia specifically, because Vancouver's got really good tech talent, specifically from the video game industry. That's kind of fostered the whole startup and tech teams out of Vancouver. So that's where we're really building up our tech team for now. So it's really structured to, you've got kind of marketing base out of here, some of our sales guys, and then the product and tech team out in Vancouver.
Oh, that's cool.
But it's really, for us, it's a mixture of, not everybody's adept at blockchain and no one's really born into it. So all we're focused on is getting top guys who know data networking, infrastructure, encryption models, cognitive science, AI. So anybody's just really well adept at programming, and you can teach them the blockchain aspect of it after. They just got to be smart and talented to begin with.
Exactly. Just be able to learn things quickly. Exactly.
That's right.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. So are you guys still hiring for your team, or are you just set right now?
Oh no, we just hired like 4 people in the last month. So we'll be probably announcing in the next couple of weeks, because people even on our community channels are asking like, hey, any new key team members?
Yeah.
But again, in a few weeks we'll put those out, new bios and talk about them. One person, she actually worked for NASA for a while, so it's really
wow.
That's cool.
get her on board. So that's gonna be cool. So yeah, we'll probably, like I said, probably hired 4 or 5 in the past 6 weeks, and probably by the end of the year, probably add another like 4 to 6 more.
So you're always looking to expand. That's great.
Oh man, you gotta. That's a good thing is when you do an ICO, and if you're a pure tech company, you just got to get engineers. You can never go wrong, right?
Exactly. Yeah, that's right. Always scaling up with the engineers. Yeah, finding those type of engineers out here. Well, in the city of Chicago, because that's actually where we're from.
Yeah.
We do see a lot of big engineers around here, but they're always so busy because they always got their own things going on, and they can never disclose anything that they're talking about. So
yeah.
But
totally.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what I was actually going to ask you, why you guys are based out of Singapore, and obviously you guys are targeting the Asian market as of right now, correct?
Well, no, targeting both. So yeah, how it happened was it came just so if you guys remember, like 2014, 2015, crypto started going back, like taking a few steps back.
Yeah.
We're kind of sour on it, whereas everybody's really concerned it was going to die off, right? And so that's when the businesses started picking up on blockchain and saying, hey, the tech is what matters, right?
Right.
Enterprise. So we thought, okay, for survival, it was like, okay, let's do blockchain enterprises. Let's aim at that. Canada, Vancouver, even the US really wasn't adopting it as fast. And we said, if this stuff's going to take off, all the financial companies, a lot of the big growth is out of Asia, so let's go over there. So we ended up going to Singapore because it was a financial hub, and they were making a big push into the fintech space. So through 2016, it was just really a lot of the corporates were looking at blockchain, and that's when we started getting our first projects. And so kind of created a good reputation here through 2016, early 2017. But the goal was always that once our product's ready, it's a global one in nature, and by having Vancouver and Singapore, we're covering like kind of the both major parts of the world. So our team could keep building in Vancouver. We can do meetups all the way down from San Francisco, Vancouver, Seattle, Portland, San Francisco, Los Angeles. My CTO's in San Fran like once a month and stays for like, anywhere from, 4 days to a week, and just doing meetups there. So we're able to cover ground on both areas where all the startups and blockchain developers are.
That's awesome. That's awesome to hear. I'm sure that everybody would want to know how they can help you guys. It's that the community always wants to help out the project.
That's the bad part about this stuff is that, you hear about certain ICOs, companies doing it, and they're like, we're not going to do the public sale, we'll just do private.
Yeah.
But then they miss out on the community aspect and building that awareness,
Right.
which is the awesome part about this is that you can just build your market and awareness beforehand and people talking about it. So I think the best stuff our community does is, all the content we put out, share it out with everybody they know, whether it's on Reddit, upvote it. But the main thing is for them to share it out and kind of say, hey, we're not going to just talk about hype it. You just BLUZELLE, just look at it, right?
Yeah.
Or buy it. It should be about, hey, check out their website, check out the team behind it. They got credible advisors. They got good articles. Just sharing that out and just kind of seeding the network. So that's what I think happened a lot was for us in December when the stuff really started taking off was by the time people kind of caught wind of it, they could do a Google search and they saw like 3-4 months of articles or links that were not just from us, but us posting other places. And it was always about tech, team, and product, tech, team, and product. Exactly. So it added to that credibility of this wasn't just something that came out of like overnight and somebody said, oh, look at this company.
Yeah. I remember, was it December when Ian did a review? I think, I know Ian Bellina did a review on you guys, I think in December around, that's when I started to look into you guys a little bit more, and I realized you guys were a really good project after that. And then we all that's actually how we have a big group on Facebook. Obviously, everybody knows about BLUZELLE.
Yeah.
And everybody's very, very fond of your project. So that's why I was wondering how the community can help a little bit more. We're already helping you out with our community. So we're trying.
No, man, it's stuff like this. Like I just did one on the weekend, and it's guys like this is the type of stuff that's awesome. Is that constant engagement with the community, give stuff back, and for them to just basically share it out and tell people that, hey, the next version of the internet is needed, should be decentralized because of security issues, scalability, and if you're going to rebuild the internet, there's core pieces, infrastructure that's needed. And basically it's about so I think it's cool is educating people why a decentralized internet and why you have all this core infrastructure that's needed for it and different roles. And then, hey, BLUZELLE is playing a critical role in here. And if they don't believe it, it's like, hey, like I said, share an article, share one of our live webinars, recorded webinars, interviews, any of those type of content pieces that we put out, because it shows that, hey, these guys have really thought this stuff through.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. We love to help because our community, it basically started out as help showing people what cryptocurrency is. That's why we actually started our page, and then it ended up just scaling up to a bigger thing where we're doing AMAs with like big companies such as yours. But actually, I wanted to ask you a quick question. Going back a little bit, when you mentioned your advisors, I know maybe some people might not know all your advisors. Could you go over them a little bit?
Yeah, so for us, it was cool. So in August, September, my CTO and I were like, okay, we got to get some good advisors, but we didn't want to just pick names for the sake of names. So ours was, hey, it was almost like putting a football team or a basketball team together, and we're like, we need key positions. So right off the bat, we're like, we should have a open source technology guy, a crypto technology guy, and a database technology guy. So we kind of just put our list together of who would be the top guys that we can go after. So we ended up getting Brian Fox, who's also the CTO of Orchid, which is a really good mesh network that's getting built out. So he's a big open source advocate, been around for 30 plus years building that type of community. So he came on because he liked the project, and because our original white paper is like 120 pages.
Oh, no kidding.
Stuff you see online is like the slimmed down version for everybody, but to get our advisors and the top guys, we had to show them that we actually thought the stuff through.
Right.
So Brian Fox came on for that, and then Prashant Malik, he is an ex-Facebook engineer. He built one of the first top distributed databases in the world. It's not fully decentralized, so it's called Cassandra. We pinged him, showed him what we're doing, and he's like, yeah, what you guys are doing here, but decentralized internet and a decentralized database. He goes, that's the next level of what I wanted to build out. So he came on board. And then we got connected to Alex Levington, who was part of the core Ethereum team from day one.
Yep.
Once again, he was like, hey, what you guys are envisioning and doing and written and actually executing is what these guys had always planned out for a decentralized internet as well. So he joined on that. So those are the first key three. Then after that, we were able to get Ryan Fugger, who was the original creator of Ripple.
Okay.
And he's from British Columbia, Vancouver. So we know him from a few years ago when we first started getting into the space. So now we're picking it up a notch, and he understands decentralized technologies and just philosophies, and really smart dude. So got him to join. And then wanted some encryption security guys like Michael Igorov from NewCypher. So we kind of picked everybody to be a role. It wasn't like, let's just get all the top crypto blockchain guys. It's like, what value can each person really add to us?
Yeah.
So you organized it very well. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome. That's a big thing that we look for into the ICOs that we do our research on, is their organization and their team and fundamentals and everything. So that's great. I'd like to hear that. Here, you want to say something, right?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's like you can't, in this world, like the stuff moves so fast. You don't have really control over regulatory, about the Bitcoin prices, all that. So my belief is as long as we stick with the right team, like I said, the fundamentals, the product, then that's all that substance can take care of itself over the long run, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's true. So yeah, Pavel, I was actually wondering, because we haven't really gone over your background yet. What did you do before BLUZELLE? Like, what did you do before all this and blockchain, whatever? Or what really sparked your interest, and what got you to this point?
Yeah, so I was always growing up, always into interested in tech, more into entertainment and media. So I was actually in video games.
Okay.
So
I can agree with you there.
What was that?
Sorry, I was just saying, video games. We all like video games here.
Yeah, exactly. So I was running a bunch of video games companies, like in a CFO, COO role. So we worked with, Microsoft, Activision, Electronic Arts, You know, I worked for Disney for a while, running their like 7 of their studios around the world. So I was always into tech and gaming and interactive. And then that's when you kind of get exposed to a lot of things, because it's not just marketing, but really some cool hardcore technologies too.
Right.
And then before doing this, then I got, you know, involved in an AR project, a virtual reality project out of Vancouver. And then that's basically kind of migrated to the blockchain, as I said. And the cool thing about that transition is guys who make video games, so the Xbox doesn't change for or the PlayStation doesn't change models for about 5 to 10 years. So the hardware is kind of the same, right?
Yeah.
But as a user or a guy who buys a game, you want the game to get better and better every year. So the game developers have to actually push the edge of the hardware to see what they can pull off to make it better, because there's only so many limitations, which is cool, because if you move it into blockchain, you know, all the stuff we're doing now, the technology is all new, and you're constantly breaking and trying to push the edge of what you can pull off, because we're all kind of figuring this out at the same time. So it's a really cool transition.
Yeah, that's awesome. So
Yeah,
would you say
and actually, if you think about it, like, I'm not really a programmer, more on the design and product side.
Yeah.
But if you look at some of the top programmers in the world, how did they start? They just started making like simple games at home first. That was the easiest thing to code.
Yeah, you're definitely right.
Yeah.
My uncle is actually one of those people. He was making video games in his room all day when video games first coming out. But yeah, do we have anything else?
We pretty much got over everything that we wanted to go over with you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate it. We definitely went over a lot of good questions that we've had from other people as well as ourselves. And you definitely told us. Yeah, you covered everything pretty much perfectly.
Is there anything maybe you want to mention? Anything else?
No, I mean, for us, it's more questions the better. You guys asked some really good questions that go a bit deeper than the regular ICO token paper questions.
Yeah.
So it's good. I think it's important, guys like you doing that, because then if everybody understands what's really being built over the long term, then they can not only look at us, but they'll be able to suss out other projects to see what they want to spend their time on, right?
Yeah.
As opposed to just hearing something by somebody else.
Right.
So it's really cool that you guys are doing stuff like this, building community. You know, your community members, anybody, if they ever want to ping us or ask a question, you know, just put it on our Discord or Telegram or anywhere, and usually we'll get back pretty fast on doing that, because, or if we don't, we're kind of gathering all the questions and we'll put like a blog post that says, okay, let's address all these questions because the community's asking. So really pretty forefront in terms of keeping that two-way communication, and our key is just educate and be pretty transparent, and everybody kind of know everything that's going on, and so make everybody really smarter in this whole thing.
Exactly. Help the community.
We're trying to basically, you know, further the crypto community and blockchain community on, you know?
Yeah.
That's what we stand for here.
Exactly.
All right. Well, hey, thank you so much for joining us again.
And
we really appreciate it. Yeah.
Thank you, everybody, for joining in this video. Remember, hit a like and a share, and blues out, everybody. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Pep.
Thanks,
All right.
Hey, thanks, guys. Talk to you later.